Okay, so this is the automation project. We're going to be taking a few raw data files, putting it together and creating a financial reporting table. So I've already done some things. So import the dependencies, import the main data set, which is the sales data, which is what we've been working on in the previous videos. And what we want to do is we want to create a table with all these elements. So the year, gross sales, units, net sales, cost of goods, all the way down to net income. This is completely fictitious. It's not based on anything. It's purely for entertainment and education purposes. How we're going to achieve this, we're going to take the sales database and we're going to bring in the product mapping table and a campaign mapping table. And the product mapping table is actually going to give us our COGS and volume. And the marketing table or the campaign table is going to give us our marketing costs to help us get further down the P&L. Okay, so let's do a quick audit on our data set. So sales data is null.sum. So as you might have seen from previous videos, we have some missing product names, but we have all the product IDs. So if we couldn't find, let's just say hypothetically we couldn't find these names and the business wanted to know what the impact was on not knowing these names, well, it would mean that we could say there's some missing sales for certain products, and if you'd like us to work it out, we can do that by doing something like check gross sales. Actually, we'll go check first. So we'll say we'll create a new data set called check, and then we'll filter on product is null. We might put all that in brackets like this. And then what we'd say is, well, let's see what the impact would have been on sales. So we'll go gross sales and we divide it by, so we've just created a new data set here where the product is null, and then we're going to divide it by the main data set. Oops, and I'll just put that, you know what, we need to sum these up. And that gives us an impact of about 1.1%. So we would then go back and say, well, we need these products populated if we can't find them, otherwise we're going to be missing 1% of our sales. Okay, so that's one thing that we can do. We can also find the number of unique values within each column. So sales data.n unique. So we've got this is monthly sales data, so we've got 24 months worth of data. This is all fictitious data that I've just created in Excel randomly, just for playing around with. We've got 5 different campaigns, we've got 2 product categories, etc., etc. So another couple of quick ways of looking at the data set is checking the info. So we looked for nulls before, but we could also achieve that here because it tells us how many non-nulls there are. And it also tells us the data types as well, which is quite handy. Take note that the date is only an object. We need this as a date type object to do some filtering on, and that's what we'll do later on. Okay, we can also describe, so sales data.describe, and basically we can see the count, and we can see the mean of gross sales, the standard deviation, the maximum. So some good information very quickly, which is very handy. Okay, so now let's just quickly review what we need to get. So these are the requirements. So we have gross sales because we've always been playing with gross sales the whole time. So we can cross that one out. We have units because we've been using that as well. So what we could find is we can write a function to find the discount costs and write a function to find net sales, because gross sales minus the discount costs will be net sales. So let's write two functions. If add discount dollar column. And there's a couple of different ways of doing this, but I will do it this way for this example. So we'll refer to the column gross sales. For discount, we'll refer to the column discount. And to get the dollar amount, we will just multiply gross sales by the discount amount. Okay, so if it's 30% if the discount is 30%, because it's represented as percentages here, we multiply that by the gross sales, and that will give us our discount cost. Back to the business. We can also then find our net sales. So we'll add net sales. We'll refer to the columns again. Gross sales equals, in fact, we can actually copy this, save ourselves some times, and then mathematically we'll work it out like gross sales minus gross sales multiplied by discount. Okay, now let's create two new columns to our main sales data set. So sales data, and we're going to do the discount cost first, so discount cost, and then we're going to apply this function on the entire data set. So we're going to say sales data dot apply, and we're going to do it row by row. So we need lambda row add discount dollar on each row. So go down each row and do this formula here. Access equals 1, and then we can find our net sales as well. So we'll do net sales, and instead of this function we're going to do add net sales. So let's see how we did. Okay, discount cost and net sales. So $29.70, the discount was $50, the discount cost, because we are paying for the entire discount, is $14.8, which is 50% of this, and therefore our net sales is the same. Okay, so now let's just have a quick check to see what we're up to. Use markdown cell. So we have just done our discounts, and our net sales. So let's bring in the product table, and then we can find our cost of goods, and we then could also find out our volume as well. Okay, so let's do that. So let's bring in the product table. Fortunately, it's just in an Excel spreadsheet. It's called product table.xlx. Let's have a look at what this looks like. Okay, so we've got the product category, product group, description, product ID, species name, and where I've just used random fruits and vegetables from Wikipedia. Then we have the price, which is the cost price, and then the grams, so size in grams for the weight and volume. Okay, so what we can do now is we can actually merge that together with the sales data. So let's do that. So we'll go sales data we're going to override it. Sales data dot merge product table is going to be on the left side. No, I'm sorry, that's going to be on the right side. We need sales data on the left, product table on the right. How? We will do it by a left join, and the left on will be on the product ID, because we have product ID here in the product table, and we've got product ID here in the sales table. So that's an easy way of linking it together or joining it together. So right on, and then let's see if this works. So we go sales data dot head how equals left merge. Sorry, because I've already put that here, we can actually get away with just doing this. Okay, so we have a small annoying problem where we've got an underscore Y because we've got the product name in both tables, but that's actually handy for us because, as we've mentioned before, we've got some missing product names, so we'll actually use it. We'll use product Y from now on. So let's have a quick look and see what columns we have now. We've got 22 columns, so let's have a look at everything. Sales data dot columns. Okay, so we've got our original sort of what we had before we pulled in the product table, and then we've got everything after that. So I think it's reasonable to drop where it's referenced product in the sales table, because the product table may have been updated since then, and we would hope that as a fictitious business that we were maintaining the product table as better than we were maintaining the products in a sales database. So let's drop a few. So we'll go sales data dot drop, and it's going to be, we're going to drop product X, lowercase x. We're going to drop product group underscore X. We're going to drop product X, product ID. So we have product ID here, and so we can keep that. So we don't need the species name. And we don't need the product reference. Okay, and access equals 1, in place equals true. Okay, sales data dot head. Let's review it now. Okay, so we've still got product underscore Y and a couple of other underscore Y, so we just need to rename these. So sales data, just because we want it to look a bit cleaner, dot rename columns. So we're going to rename some columns. Dictionary. We're going to go product category underscore Y can be, let's say you're going to be product category, oops, comma, and next one is product group Y will just be product group. And what else do we have? We have product Y, so product Y is now going to be called product. And of course, in place equals true. Let's have a look at that. Sales data dot head. Okay, so now we've got a nice, neat data set. We still have product category X there. So we forgot to drop one. That's all right, we'll leave it in for now, because we will continue to filter out the different columns as we go along. Okay, so cost price. Okay, so let's have a look at cost price, because this is what we're trying to work out. So this price here is the price, the COGS, but it's only by a unit of 1. So we need to multiply that by the number of units to find the cost of goods. So let's do another function. We'll call this total COGS, cost of goods, column. And we'll say units is equal to column units. We'll say cost price is equal to column, and it is price on the end here, which we've got from the price table, sorry, the product table. And we'll return units multiplied by cost price. To get our COGS, let's put this in our data set, sales data cost of goods equals, we'll apply this on the entire data set, apply row by row, lambda row, oops, total COGS on each row, axis equals 1. Let's see how we're looking now. Okay, cost of goods. So the price multiplied by 990 multiplied by 0.2 is 198. Okay. Alright, so we also have the size in grams here, so we would need to do the same for the amount of volume in grams. So let's steal everything here. Call this total volume, and instead of price, we'll say weight equals column size grams, and we're going to override size grams. Total volume. Okay, so size grams now goes up a lot more. Okay, because we had the size of one product, but we needed it for multiple because we're in a sales database, so we need to multiply it by the number of units. Okay, so now let's just review what we've got. So we just did cost of goods, we did volume, And so now we can, because we've got cost of goods, we can deduct it from net sales, which can give us our contribution margin. So let's do that. So let's create a function for contribution margin. Calc conch margin, column again. So we'll say the net sales this time because we've already got it in our data set, equals column net sales cost of goods equals column cost of goods, return net sales minus cost of goods, sales data contribution margin equals sales data dot apply, and we're going to do it row by row, so lambda row calc contribution margin on each row, go down row by row, axis equals 1, and let's see what we've got. Sales data dot head. We're in negative territory for some of these products, so cost of goods, it's more expensive to make than it is to get the sales. So that's interesting. Can happen. Okay, so let's have another look here again. I thought we did cost of goods. We did contribution margin. So what's left? We've got, we can do, let's do marketing costs, let's do tax. And again, this is going to be fictitious, so we're going to assume tax is only applied on berries. Yeah, that's what we'll do. We'll just say taxes, but there's only a tax on whenever we sell berries, and it'll be based on our contribution margin. Okay, so let's go def tax calc column, and so we'll get a bit interesting here. We'll go while, so because we're going row by row, we'll go while column product group is equal to berries. So keep going down the rows. If you get berries, and well, let's say if the contribution margin is 0, then nothing gets done. So we'll say if column contribution margin is less than or equal to 0, then return, oops, no tax. Else we return contribution margin and let's say it incurs let's say a 10% tax. Okay, so then we'll go sales data tax equals sales data, and we'll apply this on the data set itself because we're referring to the columns. You can look for the columns, and then we'll go row by row, lambda row tax calc on row. So while the product group is equal berries, and the contribution is not 0 or less than 0, then start multiplying, start putting a 10% tax on the contribution margin. Access equals 1. Alright, so let's just see what that looks like. So we'll go sales data dot head. Okay, so so there's zeros here for tax because I guess we don't have berries. So yeah, we've got tropical fruit. So let's just see if we can check it. So we'll go check equals sales data product group equals berries. So that should filter just for the berries. Check dot head. Okay, so we have here. It's a berry contribution margin. Where are you? 17. Okay, so these are negative, these contribution margins, so we don't pay tax. But here we get a positive, so we do pay a tax on that, 10% tax. That was the logic. Okay. It's not necessarily any logic that a business would use, but we're just playing here. So let's have another look here and see what we've done. So we did contribution margin, we've done tax now. So let's now find the marketing costs. Okay, to do that we need to bring in the marketing table. So let's do that. So we'll say marketing data equals pd.read Excel campaign table.xlsx marketing data. Okay, let's just have a look at it. Okay, get the campaign ID, campaign name, costs, marketing manager, brand manager. We don't need some of this stuff, we just need the cost. But let's do that. So we will join these together. So sales data now will have we'll merge it. So we'll go sales data dot merge, and you can do it the other way as well, but this assumes that it's on the left side. Otherwise you could do pd.merge and put it on the left like we did in the previous videos. I'm going to go how equals left, and left on will be on, well, campaign ID here, and we're fortunate again, we can use the same name, left on campaign ID and right on campaign ID. Okay, so let's have a look. Name marketing is not defined. That's because I defined it as marketing data above. Okay, so again, we've got some extra stuff on the end. So we could drop it. Let's drop it. So let's go sales data dot drop, and we're going to say we don't need the campaign name. All we need is the cost. So we don't need the campaign name. We don't need the marketing manager, which is just fake names. We don't need the brand managers. And we don't need the channel. We just want the cost. Access equals 1. place equals true. And we might also rename cost here because it's a bit confusing. Let's call this sales data. We're renaming the column. Columns equals, so cost will become, call it marketing cost. In place equals true. Sales data dot head. Let's see what it did. Looks good. Okay, so we've got this nan here, which is not ideal. So we're going to fill the nans just with zeros. So we'll go sales data dot fill na 0 in place equals true. And hopefully that will remove those nans, which it does. Okay. Alright, so now what we're going to do is we're going to do something a bit tricky, but we might do that in the next video. So let's do part 2. Thank you.